I'm Bambi Francisco here in Zaragoza, Spain, with this segment of Lessons for Entrepreneurs, and I'm speaking with Yoav Leitersdorf of YL Ventures. Yoav, thanks for joining me.
Hi, Bambi.
In this beautiful Roman theater.
It's gorgeous.
It is gorgeous. Yoav, you have been an entrepreneur 3 times over. You've started 3 companies and you've sold them as well, and now you're a VC, advising and investing in startups. What is your advice to them, particularly in this economic downturn that we're experiencing?
Absolutely. I said the first piece of advice is get to revenues as quickly as you can. If a few years ago you had a certain runway, a couple of years, maybe even more, to get to revenues, to the basic metric of any business, today you have to do it a lot faster. And especially where there's scarce capital, and there's also so much less patience for new businesses to get off the ground. So just even if it's little revenues, just get there as quickly as you can and grow afterwards.
Okay, so that's the first piece of advice. Give us 2 more.
All right. The second piece of advice is raise as little capital as possible in order to launch your business. What happens when you raise a lot of capital is that you set your investors' expectations very high, and so they demand a certain level of multiples on their investment. They demand a certain level of exit valuation, and in most cases, we've seen in the last few years, those expectations cannot be met. And that's purely a function of how much money you raise. So the less you raise, the higher your chances of actually being able to exit and have everybody happy around the table. Okay.
So generate revenue, generate cash right now, raise as little money as you can, and one more piece of advice for an entrepreneur?
The third one is learn to be lucky. And that kind of sounds strange, and how could I control my luck? I've actually heard this from an old mentor of mine, and basically what it means is create opportunity as much as possible. Talk to as many people as you can. Be out there. Have a diverse group of customers if you can. A diverse group of partners. Go to conferences like this where we're at right now. Network as much as you can. In that way, you're basically increasing the likelihood that some luck will ultimately happen to you. And in many cases, the luck is basically a liquidity event, or selling your company. And you actually need to be lucky to do that. You can create your own luck, basically.
Now, we're here at the Innovate Europe competition, and one of the things that I've been hearing, and I'm sure you've been hearing a lot, is that there's this attitude, this European attitude toward failure. And it's a disadvantage to the many entrepreneurs here. What is the attitude toward failure?
Yeah, unfortunately, that myth is actually true, and entrepreneurs that have failed in Europe rarely go back into entrepreneurship. They basically kind of cut their losses and go back to whatever work they've been doing before. I don't think there's enough respect for entrepreneurs that perhaps have not made it the first time. But if you look at Silicon Valley, most successful entrepreneurs have actually had to fail once or twice before they became successful.
Yeah.
So a lot of us here are talking about that and trying to encourage people to try it anyways.
Right.
If they fail, nothing happens. Just try again.
Right. It's actually looked upon as a positive thing over in the Silicon Valley. Thanks very much, Yoav. I've been speaking with Yoav Leitersdorf of YL Ventures. I'm Bambi Francisco.